All right, this is Algebra 1, test number 7. Got through section 2.8 study guide. Here we go. First one says simplify the expression. Negative 9 times negative 8. Negative times a negative is a positive 72 divided by negative 2. Positive divided by negative is a negative 36. Negative 4.3 minus a negative. Anytime you have minus a negative means plus a positive. 4.4, when you put those two together, you get a positive 0.1 plus 4.6 is 4.7. Number 3, absolute value of 14 minus 13. 14 minus 13 is 1. The absolute value of that means how far away is it from 0. If it would have been negative, you make it positive. If it's positive, you leave it alone. 5.4 minus 5.4, those two cancel each other out right away. Negative 5.73 plus 2.7 is going to be negative 3.03 when we put those two together. Minus 4.18. A negative minus a number, you just add them up and you just keep them negative. We're going to get 0.21, and then 4 minus 3, 7. Negative 7.21 for that one. Negative 0.7 times 8.1. Negative times a negative, they're going to come out to be positive. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 8 is 56, but then you have to move that decimal. We had to move it one time for that one and a second time for that one. So from here, once, twice, 5.67 for that one. Number 6 says negative 5 squared. That means negative 5 times negative 5. A negative times a negative is a positive 25. Number 7, the difference between 6 and 7 is the parentheses. You only square 10 times 10. It gives you a positive 100. And you bring down the negative in the front, so it turns into a negative 100. A lot of people are asking questions about this one. 1/2 times 24m. You distribute that to both terms. 1/2 times 24m, half of 24 is 12m, and 1/2 times 24 is plus 12. That's all you can do with that. Distribute this one, except the single number is after the binomial. But still distribute. Negative 1 times negative 9 is a positive 9. Negative 1 times negative c is a positive c. Negative 12 divided by negative 2, and negative divided by negative is a positive 6. Negative 28z minus 28z. Just add 10 and 28 together, and you get 38. Keep the common sign negative and bring down your z. You do not make it z squared right there because you're not multiplying the same bases. We're naming these properties. It says 8 times 1 over 8 equals 1. 8 times what? That's the inverse property. Inverse. And it's a property of multiplication. We know that's multiplication, not addition. 8 plus 3.4 equals 3.4 plus 8. All they're doing is moving positions or commuting. That's the commutative property. And it's a commutative property of addition because that's adding those. 7 plus 4.4 equals 7 plus 4 plus 4 is what I meant to say, not 4.4. But all that happens right there is the parentheses move from 4 plus 4 first to 7 plus 4. The parentheses move or the groups move. The association changes. So that's the associative property. And again, it's of addition. And then 2 times negative 3 over 9 is equal to negative 3 over 9 times 2. Nothing changes except the position, or they commute. That's the commutative property, this time, of multiplication. Commutative property, this time, of multiplication. 16 says you roll a standard number cube. That means there's 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are the possible outcomes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. When it talks about standard cube, there's 6 sides. So it says, what is the probability of rolling a number greater than 1? Well, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 of them that's greater than 1 out of 6 total ones. Because remember, probability is favorable out of total. So 5 over 6 is your probability. 17 says to refer to that spinner. It says find the probability of spinning something that's even and not shaded. There's only two spaces that are not shaded up here, 6 and 3, and 3 is not an even number. So the only one that works is 6. So that's one thing. That's one thing right here. So 1 out of, there's 2, 3, there's 6 of them total. So your probability is 1 out of 6. That's having to do two things correctly, not shaded and even. It says find the odds, now it's talking about odds, not probability, of it landing on a dark section. There's 4 dark ones, so 4 total. I'm sorry, 4 is the favorable. Over there's 2 of them that are not shaded. So it's favorable over unfavorable. That simplifies to 2 over 1, which you read as 2 to 1. 4 to 2 is the same thing as 2 to 1. 19 says she's in a French club, 26 students in the club. The teacher's going to pick 3 students at random to guide visiting students from France. What is the probability that she will not be picked? So it's probability she'll not be picked. Only 3 of them are going to be picked. So it said, what's the probability of her getting picked? It would be 3 out of 26. But 23 of them are not going to be picked. So 23 out of 26 not being picked. Make sure you read where it says not. 20 says you have the numbers 1 through 24 written on slips of paper. If you choose one slip at random, what's the probability to not select a number divisible by 3? So you got to go through the numbers that are divisible by 3. We know just to look at the multiples, 3, 6, 9, 12. You got to do this if you have to. 15, 18, 21, and 24. So how many of those we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 of them that are divisible by 3. 8 of them that are divisible by 3, which if you subtract 8 from 24, 24 minus 8 is going to be the number 16. So 16 of them, it asks you what is the probability. So we know that means favorable over total. So favorable over total is 16 out of 24. The number 4 goes into both. It goes into itself. It says it goes into 16 4 times and into 24 6 times. But then you can see that 2 goes into them again. So we should have used the number 8. 2 goes into 4 2 times and into 6 3 times. So the probability is 2 over 3 or 2 out of 3 to not be divisible by 3. 21 says in a batch of 960 calculators, 8 were found to be defective. What's the probability a calculator chosen at random will be defective? Write it as a percent and then round it to 1/10 of a percent as necessary. So 8 of them out of 960. Defective is the favorable outcome right here. That's not a good thing for them to be broken or defective, but it is the favorable outcome. So 8 over 960. And since we're writing it as a percent, just divide 8 by 960. And you get 0.00833, and it keeps going. So 0.00833, and it keeps going. But we know from a decimal to make it into a percentage, you got to move the decimal 1 2 times. So that gives us 0.8%, and it says rounded to 1/10 of a percent. That's the decimal. That's the digit right after the decimal. So 0.8% of them are defective. It says you toss a coin and roll a number cube. Find the probability that you get heads and an even number. This will be a bonus one tomorrow. I didn't realize this one was on here. But the probability of getting heads is 1 out of 2. And an even number, there's 3 of them, 2, 4, and 6. So that's 3 out of 6, which is the same thing as 1 out of 2. Anytime you're doing 2 things together, you multiply them. And again, this will be bonus. I know we didn't go over this. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. But it's an easy thing. You just multiply 1/2 times 1/2 to get 1/4. Says suppose you choose a marble from a bag, 2 red ones, 5 white ones, and 3 blue ones. You return the first one, and then you choose again. Find probability you'll get a red one and a blue one. So the first probability we know is out of the total. So 2 plus 5 is 7 plus 3 is 10. So there's a total of 10 of them. So find a red one first. There's 2 red ones. So 2 out of 10 simplifies to 1 out of 5. Times, again, just like the last one, this will have to be a bonus one too. I'll correct it hopefully before tomorrow and make it less bonus. But and the blue one. That's 3 of them out of 10. But you multiply those by each other. 1 times 3 is 3. 5 times 10 is 50. 3 out of 50 chance that you'll choose a red one, put it back, and then pull a blue one. So that means every 50 times you try that, it'll come up 3 times. 24 says, in a word game, you choose a tile from a bag, replace it, and then choose another. 21 vowels and 15 consonants. What's the probability you choose a consonant and then a vowel? So again, what is the probability? So total, 21 plus 15, the total is 36. It says choose a consonant and then a vowel. There's 15 consonants, so 15 out of 36. And number 3 goes into both of those, 5 over 12, it simplifies to. And then a vowel, 21 over 36. Again, the number 3 goes into that one, 21 over 36 is going to simplify to 7 over 12. When you put 3 into it, multiply straight across. 5 times 7 is 35, and 12 times 12 is 144. Leave it there for now. 25 says evaluate. Then we're getting away from all the probability stuff. This is all the old stuff. Negative x plus negative 4.9. So negative, then 4.5. Plus a negative 4.9 is the same thing as minus 4.9. Add those up. 9 and 5 is 14. Carry 1. 4 and 4 plus 1 is 9. So we got negative 9.4. 26 says, write an algebraic expression for the phrase. The product of x and 4. Product means to multiply. 4x is the best way you can write that. If you wrote it as x times 4, it would be right. 4x is better. 27 just says to define a variable. So it's just like 26, but just use the letter x or n or something like that. Negative 4 minus a number, x. The quotient of 6 times a number, 6 times y and 4. 6 times a number divided by 4. That's what quotient means, to divide. Again, I know we're going fast because stuff we've been doing for a while. 20 divided by 30, cancel out the 0 over 0, or 10 goes into both, leaves you with 2 over 3. 30 says write 4 times 4 times 4 using an exponent. That's times itself 3 times, so 4 to the 3rd power. 6 over 12 minus 1 over 8, they both go into the number 24, so we need a common denominator. 12 times 2 gives you 24, so multiply 6 times 2, you get 12. 8 times 3 gives you 24, so multiply negative 1 times 3, you get negative 3. Now just add straight across, or subtract in this case. 12 minus 3 is 9 over 24. The number 3 goes into both again. 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 times 8 is 24. This one's division. You don't have to have a common denominator, but you do need to change it to multiplication and use the reciprocal 9 over 8. So 2/3 times 9 over 8, multiply straight across. 2 times 9 is 18. 3 times 8 is 24. The number 6 goes into both. 6 times 3 is 18, and 6 times 4 is 24. 34, write as a fraction in simplest form. This is the 10th place. This is the 100th place. So 38 over 100. 2 goes into both of them. It goes into 38 19 times, and it goes into 150 times. When you cancel out 2 over 2, it leaves you at 19 over 50. Write as a percent. Move the decimal twice. Once, twice, 98%. Evaluate u plus x times y. 14 plus x's value is 3 times y's value is 10. Multiply 3 times 10 first, you get 30. Plus 14 is 44. 36 says evaluate A times B. So you have 4 times 3 in parentheses, then squared. 4 times 3 is 12. That squared is 144. Says you can use the formula C equals 5 over 9 times F minus 32. Plug in 80 in place of F. So you got 80 minus 32 in parentheses. C equals 5 over 9 times that. 80 minus 32 is, we take that away, it gives us 8. We have to borrow 1, so we have 48 times 5 over 9 equals C. Everything can be over 1. When you multiply straight across, 5 times 48 gives you 240. 9 times 1 is 9. So 240 divided by 9 is 26.66, and it keeps on going. It says round to the nearest tenth, so that means we want the digit right after the decimal. This tells us it has to go up 1 since it's 5 or greater. So 26.7, and that's degrees, is Celsius. 38 says the temperature on a summer afternoon is 72 degrees. Define a variable and write an expression to find the temperature after it changes when there's a decrease of 13 degrees. So 72 plus X is the expression to show the change. Then it says 13 is the change. It says decrease. That means to go down. So we plug in a negative value, 72 plus a negative 13, or 72 minus 13. So we know we have 9, and we have 59 degrees. 39 says you made 2 deposits, 1861 and 1553. At the end of the month, you have 7231. The easiest way to do this, no withdrawals. Write and evaluate an expression. So 18.61 plus 15.53 plus X, that's what it was at the beginning of the month, equals 72.31. Easiest way to find this is to subtract 7231 minus 1861, subtract minus 1861 and minus 1553. And when you do that, it leaves you with $38.17. So your X value, how much was it at the beginning of the month? $38.17. And finally, number 40 says simplify 8 times 599 using the distributive property. That's like 8 times 600 minus 1. That's the same thing as 599. 8 times 600 is 4,800. And 8 times negative 1 is minus 8. So 4,800 minus 8 is 4,792.